There's not a lot of Latin voices in media. Why is that? One woman decided to answer this question. Her name is Emilia Martin. She pushed her people forward to make sure their voices were heard and that they were seen. Maria Martin came from a humble background. She was born in Mexico on January 28, 1951. She then was raised in San Antonio, Texas. While living there, she attended the University of Texas and found her passion in radio. In her early career, she did volunteer work in college when Latin voices were barely heard. In her early days, she helped edit the Latin American news service in El Paso, Texas, but during this time around the early 1990s, Maria created a Spanish-speaking radio news magazine program. She also edited the Latin American news service in El Paso, Texas. She also joined the NPR, National Public Radio, and helped push Latino issues and voices during her time at the station. After graduating from the University of Texas in 2003, she decided to move to the country of Guatemala. She decided to move since it's deep in poverty and the government is crippling. This is why Maria chose to go to this country, to give these people a voice and to help them. She also produced a 26-part bilingual radio documentary series after the war she has experienced since the 1980s. Maria also brought an international team to Guatemala to air on public radio stations. This was produced in Central America. Maria wanted to give the people of Guatemala the chance that she had when she first started in radio. Martin also helped indigenous and rural reporters in Latin America to boost more of her people in the industry and the Latin community. She knew the struggles and the hardships that her people faced. She wanted to give them an opportunity to finally have the power to be heard. Finally, Maria gave them a voice when no one dared to hear her voice when she first started in radio. It took a huge risk to be in Guatemala. With how many journalists have died in this country, 69 of them have been killed since 1992. Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador are all located in the northern triangle of South America, where the majority of these deaths have taken place around the early 1990s. With how crime-ridden the northern triangle of South America is, Maria wanted to help these people of this country. She wanted to protect these innocent people as best as she and her team can. Not a lot of people care about what's going on in predominantly Latin countries or territories. Examples like in 2017 when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico and the island didn't have power for weeks upon weeks with no aid. This happens a lot. This is why Maria trained people in Latin countries as well as territories, since no one else cared to give them a voice. She gravitated to the struggles as well as the issues of poverty, violence in South America. She made sure she knew the truth and the rawness of the events. Maria also used novelas, Spanish soap operas, to speak upon gender issues. She also used platforms to educate people on issues in Guatemala. The names of the novelas aren't named, but in 2003, like I previously said, Maria created a 26-part bilingual radio documentary series called Después de las Guerras, Central America after the wars. Martin always made sure to face the issues head on, and to make sure she knew the facts about the topic at hand. She wanted to make sure her audience listened to these people's lives. She used radio shows and novelas to speak about gender equality, democracy, peace, as well as military control, violence, and political oppression. During this time, she pushed for these people to be heard with the risk of death or the risk of being deplatformed. She continued to push forward and be selfless to help people in need. Her selflessness is commended by her acts of kindness and humanity. She has shown she touched many lives throughout her career. But sadly, tragedy struck. Maria Emilia Martin sadly passed away on December 2nd, 2023. She passed away in Texas in a hospice when she was 72 years old. Her death was due to medical complications from her procedure. She sadly was already suffering from past illnesses before the procedure. But before her death, she wrote a memoir entitled Crossing Borders, Building Bridges, and lastly, but certainly not least, Journalist's Heart in Latin America. Before her death, she continued to report on Guatemalan issues on NBC News until 2023. Her death had a huge impact on the Latin community as well as the radio industry, and it's most certainly on many people's lives that she has touched through her career. The sacrifices she made as well as the selfless acts of kindness that she has done for so many people will never be forgotten. With her passion and heart and extreme resilience to continue the fight to help people in war-torn countries, her selflessness and her countless acts of love and care to these stories will forever be remembered. Thank you, Maria Emilia Martin, and may you rest in peace. Goodbye.